Girl Henny. Y'all gotta go to her channel.
The girl Henny, do you know who she is?
She a blogger or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, where did this lady come from?
Girl been on your ass.
She on your life, G.
Shout out to Henny over there.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. It's your girl Henny, and I'm about to pour plenty of the hot Henny that y'all love to sip on. So please, if you are new here, welcome. Be sure to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Click that notification bell, select all so that you get notified whenever I do a video. And if you are a returning Mob Down Henny Gang member, yeah. Now let's get into this content. So, everyone all over the internet has been caught up in the paperwork of this woman right here. And who is this woman? This is Tammy Cowins. Now, if you don't know who she is, if you don't know what's going on, I don't know where you've been, but this is the woman at the center of the controversy when it comes down to Big Meech. Now, if you've been following the real life series, okay, you were around when they were making it rain in the club in Atlanta and all of that good stuff, the era of BMF, then you should know some of this information if you have been following the story. So Tammy, okay, is the woman that held Meech's life rights, power of attorney, and such. It's a twisted tale. And so tonight, I'm not going to start with the viral topic. I'm going to start all the way at the beginning. Not the very beginning, like where you go in and you're like, oh, you know, Tammy was born and she was, and this is what she did. She went to elementary school here, and that's not what we're doing. I'm going to go all the way back to the first man that Tammy was entangled with. And who is that man? Well, that would be the gentleman that is on the thumbnail, you guys. And the gentleman that is on the thumbnail is the subject of this conversation. And his name is Anthony Cohen. Now, Anthony is Tammy's first husband. And yes, I said first husband. Hence the title of the first part of this series, Tammy's first husband. Now, Tammy, whose maiden name is Tammy Lachelle Carter. Tammy Lachelle Carter married Anthony Cowins on August 19th of 1995. And now she has become, at that point, Tammy Cowins, aka CS1, as we know her today. Tammy and Anthony, they lived, I guess you could say they lived like a kind of a, I don't know. I guess you could say a textbook kind of life on paper. Anthony was a subcontractor for AAA, and she worked as a claims adjuster for Goldman Sachs. Now, how do I know she worked for Goldman Sachs? Because she said it in her transcript in Cuffy's Frank's hearing. Yes, I've read that. I've read Cromer's transcript. I've read Jack Harvey's transcripts, and I kind of know those transcripts like the back of my hand because that's where your girl has disappeared to, reading and breaking down. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. So everything between them seemed to be all right, you know. Tony got into a couple of, you know, kabuffles, little scuffles or whatever as far as run-ins with law enforcement. But this is where we start weaving this tangle web, because on July 3rd of 2002, Anthony, I want to make sure that I was giving y'all the right document. All right, so Anthony was charged with carrying a pistol without a license and carrying a concealed weapon. For this, he had to serve 1 day, and I want y'all to see this. He had to serve 1 day in custody and serve the remaining 12 months on probation, and then it would be credited time served. He had to pay a fee and fines of $225. No restitution, no none of that. But he also had to undergo alcohol and drug evaluation and treatment as directed by probation and or attend AANA. Yep. And then it said that he shall pay $30 per month. And he could also work his community service and get paid $6 an hour in order to pay off his supervisory fees. He was also told to forfeit his weapons and that the defendant may not own any kind of weapons for the duration of his probation. Now, this next part that I'm going to say may cause a little bit of controversy because Tammy and Tony were having issues within their marriage in 2003. And I want y'all to remember in 2003, that's the time that Tammy met BMF. Because if you remember, if you listen to any of Blue Da Vinci's interviews that he's done, he talked about how he met Tammy and he dealt with Tammy from 2003 to 2004. So in 2003, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. On 6/8/2003, Tony was charged with misdemeanor battery and simple battery. And this was against Tammy. Now, how do I know that? Because it says so right here. Of course, you know I'm going to show you. So once he did this, you know that this was a violation of his probation that he even got into trouble. But instead of him going to Click City, he had to serve 2 days in jail and 12 months of, he had to serve 2 days in jail. He was 2 days at Click City and 12 months on probation. Okay. And then it said the defendant shall pay $39 a month supervision. He had to go to 12 weeks of anger management and anger management classes and no violent contact. It says Tommy, but they meant Tammy Cowins. So now they're having bumps and bruises in their marriage. And I'm not trying to blame anyone, so do not take what I am saying as accusatory. What I am doing is just analyzing all of the information that we have, all of the information that we know, and going off of that, because I didn't see anything in their history that indicated that they were having these types of marital issues. But again, we're going off of public record. I don't have firsthand knowledge. I don't know these people. I'm just reading court docs and putting the story together and filling in the blanks with my assumptions. So this is an assumption. This is allegedly. So if they were married in 1995 and from 1995 to 2003, there was nothing that was on record. That does not mean that he was never putting his hands on her before that. But it does show that if it was that bad in 2003 that the police had to be called, that clearly something was going on. Okay. And what makes me feel like it's a possibility that this stuff is because maybe she was running the streets. Okay, you got to think about this. They're in Atlanta. That's where BMF was. They're in Atlanta. If she's running around or seen out or anybody spots or hears that she's with BMF, of course her husband is going to hear it. So it's possible that that could be the reason why they started having some issues. And I say possible because guess what? Just like Blue was saying that he was with Tammy in 2003 to 2004, Tammy testified in her Frank's hearing that she met Meech in 2002, 2003. And she's saying that Blue introduced her to him. But I don't know if Blue introduced her or what, or if it was just like a passing thing, because he said he never had her around him. So I don't know, because she was lying a lot in that Frank's hearing, in that transcript. So it's very hard to tell if she was telling the truth or not about anything that she was saying. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay. And just a side note, I don't trust her. I don't trust Cromer. They both have reasons to lie. If anything, I go by Jack Harvey. Okay. Jack Harvey seems to be a bit more reliable, but I got my eye on him too. But anyway, now Tammy and Tony continue to have issues within their marital bond, because in July of 2005, Tony once again caught charges for domestic violence. Okay, this time he was charged with family violence battery, family violence simple battery, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Now, in this case, what he did was he struck Tammy. He slapped her in the face and he left red marks on her. And the cruelty to children charge is because their daughter, Victoria, who was under the age of 18, was present. And she saw and heard the accused, which would be Anthony, who's the primary aggressor, commit a family violence battery. So, yeah. And here, right here, is the arrest warrant for him. And it gives you a breakdown of what actually was going on. So it says a person commits an offense of battery when he intentionally causes substantial physical harm or visible bodily harm to another. To wit, Anthony Cowins did hit Tammy Cowins in the face. Tammy had visible red marks on her face. He did this in the presence of their 5-year-old child, Victoria. So Victoria was watching all of this go down. Okay. Now, with him being told that he had to go to NA and AA, it is said already in the court documents, if you read any of the transcripts, if you heard any of the transcripts being read, that Tony had issues with drugs. And that is further solidified in Tammy's filing for divorce. Okay. If you're following the transcripts, then you know in 2006 is when she started dating Terry White. Terry White was a D-boy. Okay. He was moving weight. He moved heroin, cocaine, and Mary Jane. He was also into money laundering too. And she was dating him. But in 2006, not only was she dating him, she was filing for divorce from Tony. Okay. On March 9th of 2006, Tammy filed for a divorce, and you see it right here on the screen. This is the divorce papers that Tammy filled out. You see Tammy Lachey Cowins, Anthony Cowins, and this is her lawyer. This is Tammy's lawyer right here, Mary Cates. Now, the reason why she's filing for this divorce, I'm going to go up and I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to read the highlighted portions of this, but this is the complaint for divorce that she had. She said the parties were married in due form of law on August 19th of 1995 and lived together as man and wife until July of 2005. Now pause, because I forgot to tell y'all that after that incident on July 15th of 2005, where he put his hands on her in front of the daughter, Tammy separated from him. So from July of 2005 all the way up until present, which would be March 9th of 2006, which is about a year, they lived separate. Okay. And she says the reason why they separated was due to irreconcilable differences. Okay. Since that time, they lived in an intentional suspension of marital relationship. So they were not, they weren't judging with each other, according to her. All right. She says that he could have visitation of the daughters, visitations with the daughter, but the condition is based on the defendant's rehabilitation for drugs because Tony was a drug addict. Hence the reason why they kept saying AA, NA, that he had to report to those programs in his probation. All right. Just an assumption. Now, Tammy shows that there's a life insurance policy on the life of the defendant, which she has been paying the premiums on, and she should be awarded ownership of same for the use and benefit of the minor child. Now, remember this. She wants his life insurance policy. Now, I know you're saying, Henny, where you going with that? If the dude was on drugs and he was out there in the streets, then yeah, it would be smart to have a life insurance policy on him. But I will give you my theory at the end of this, okay? The property and earnings of the plaintiffs are as follows. Tammy, she worked as a senior claims adjuster, and she made approximately $43,000 a month. And Tony worked as a subcontractor for AAA and earned approximately $41,000 a month. So as you can see, all of the information that I gave y'all in the beginning of this video, this is where I got that information from, okay? She said there was no real property between the two that needed to be divided, and they had already divided their assets up before she even filed for a divorce. So when they separated, she took what was hers, he took what was his, and they went on about their business. Now, Tammy shows a divorce is sought upon the grounds that the marriage is irreparably broken, as defined in the Georgia codes and laws, right? Plaintiff shows that there is no hope of reconciliation, and she seeks divorce upon the additional grounds that he is a drug addict. And Tammy wishes to have her maiden name restored, which is Tammy Lachelle Carter. So again, the domestic violence and all of that stuff is the reason why she filed for this divorce. Okay. But on August 21st, 2006, their divorce was dismissed without prejudice. And it says, at the call of the calendar, attorney Mary Ellen Cates appeared on behalf of the plaintiff, which is Tammy. There was no appearance by the plaintiff or the defendant. So Tammy and Tony did not show up to court. So therefore, they dismissed it without prejudice, which means it could be brought back up at a later time. Okay. Now, unfortunately, it never got the opportunity to be brought up again, because on April 22nd, 2007, Tony Anthony Cowins passed away. And he passed away in a motorcycle accident. Now, how do you know that he passed away in a motorcycle accident, Henny? Who told you that? Well, right here. Request to close case with modifications. This is from the violation that Tony had, or from the case that Tony had with the family violence simple battery. Okay, it says right here, this defendant passed away on April 22nd, 2007 from a motorcycle accident. The case has expired. So Tony passed away. Now, the only thing that has me raising my eyebrow, well, there's two things that have me raising my eyebrow at this. I've never heard of anyone being buried so quickly. 6 days. Tony passed away April 22nd. April 28th is where they had the services, and he was buried. Now, you know, she didn't get back that money that quick from the life insurance policy, because I know personally from dealing with it firsthand, it's never that quick, simple, 1, 2, 3. I tell you today, you give me my money tomorrow. It's never like that. And the fact that she was pushing and pressing to have control over that life insurance, and then she let the divorce go, and then he passes away months later. Eight months to be exact. 8 months after. Almost to the day, 8 months after she let the divorce go. I don't know. That's suspicious to me. But when he passed away, Tammy also started posting in the local newspaper little things. And this one, she's posted 3 of them. But out of the 3 of them, this one kind of stood out to me. It says, "You were my first and only true love and the father of our beautiful daughter. I will never forget you. Never forget how you left without no goodbye. No goodbyes was my main regret. I wish we could have just held you or just told you we love you one more time. No matter what my wrongs were. No matter what my wrongs were. You offered only love until that night. You left us for your new home above. I know you are still with us. Your love is within our hearts, even though your life is not present. Our souls will never part. I feel half my soul is gone, and no one can bring that back. But I will just continue to pray to the Lord for strength each and every day. Your loving wife and daughter, Tammy and Victoria." 2 things in there. And I'm not being a bee. I'm just being observant, okay? So I mean no harm when I say this, but what were your wrongs? What were you doing that was wrong? And you say your loving wife, but you were just about to divorce him 8 months before this. Y'all were not trying to reconcile. You said that it was irreparably broken and there was no hope of reconciliation. So I mean, I don't know, but she posted that in 2007. In 2008, she posted this. She said, you know, in memory of a loved one, happy birthday. We thought of you. With love today, but this is nothing new. We thought about you yesterday and the days before that too. We think of you in silence. We often speak your name. Now all we do is have memories and your pictures in a frame. Some may think you are forgotten, though on earth you are no more. But in our memory, you are with us, as you always were before. 1,000,000 times we thought of you. 1,000,000 times we've cried. If loving could have saved you, you would have never died. You left us beautiful memories. Your love is still our guide. And though we cannot see you, you're always by our side. It broke our heart to lose you, but you did not go alone. Part of us went with you on that day God called you home. Forgive me, Lord, I always weep for the best friend I love, but could not keep. We love you so much today, tomorrow, and forever. Tammy and Victoria. And like I said, that was in 2008. Now, this was the last one that she posted in 2008. Do not grieve for me, for now I'm free. I'm following the path God has laid, you see. I touched his hand when I heard him call. I turned around and left it all. I could not stay another day to laugh, to love, to work, to play. Tasks left undone must stay that way. I found peace at the close of the day. Perhaps my time seemed all too brief. Don't lengthen it now with undue grief. Lift up your heart and praise thee. God want me, he set me free. We love you and we miss you more than you'll ever know. Tammy and Victoria. Now, this was the last one that she posted to the newspaper. There has been no more since then. There's been nothing since then in the newspapers that we found. But for me, you were also seeing Terry White during this time that you were filing for a divorce. Now, it's unclear as to when she started seeing Terry White, but she was seeing Terry White in 2006. She was pressing for that life insurance policy. And based off of everything that I have read about her, Tony violated her when he put his hands on her. Now, I'm not saying she did anything to him. I'm just saying, as you're going to see, the more that I pull on this thread of Tammy Cowins, anyone that crosses her ends up in a bad spot, in a bad way. But as far as this part of the series goes, this is going to be the conclusion of Tammy's first husband. And yeah, I've got way more to give to y'all. So this is the first installment. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Do you find it suspicious that Tammy was pressing for his life insurance policy during a divorce while she was still seeing and sleeping with another man? Do you think that her problem started with her husband because she was out there being for the streets? Let me know what y'all think. In the meantime, love is always love, y'all. Thank y'all for supporting. Be sure to like the video on the way out, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace, y'all.